Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm here in County Galway in an area called Kilbocht Old Burial Ground, and there's a very interesting mausoleum in this old graveyard, and I'll tell you a little bit more about who's interred there in a moment. So some of these old graves here are covered in moss, so it's hard to read them. So this is 1700s, this one. And then just here we have a stone flat marker with a cross on it. And the old church, the old ruin of the church. So it's a beautiful location, as you can see there, what's left of it. And the old doorway here will take us out towards the mausoleum. So this is the very elaborate mausoleum, as we can see here. And it looks like a crown, the top of it. And the steps that lead down to the doorway of the mausoleum. So the old church that we see here site has earlier medieval roots, and nunnery is said to have been founded there by Saint Rachella, sister of Saint Patrick, according to tradition, and later a third order Franciscan monastery was established in the 12th century. So that's how far back we go with that. The mausoleum then was added later as a private burial monument within this old graveyard. So I'll just tell you the details about the family that's interred here then. So the mausoleum was erected in memory of James Henry Blake, a barrister of St. Stephen's Green, Dublin, who died the 4th of August 1841. The inscription over the doorway describes him thus: talents of a varied and transcendent order raised him to the highest estimation in his profession. The monument was commissioned by his widow, Maria Louisa Blake, who also established it as the resting place for his honoured remains. So Maria Louisa Blake, sister of Henry Blake, the local landlord of nearby Dartfield estate, she died in Chelsea in London in 1876. Her remains lie here also in the mausoleum alongside her husband. In addition, two other members of the Hardy family, Joseph and his son James, are also recorded as being buried within the mausoleum. They were local graziers who eventually acquired the Dartfield estate. Now, why they were buried in there with the Blake family, I'm not quite sure, but if I find any information, I will let you know, of course. But what a beautiful mausoleum it is. And we have a wreath left here in the perimeter area of the mausoleum. Looks like it's been there a while, a Christmas one. Now the inscription over the door is hard to read, but I do believe there is information about what that says online, so I'll put that over the video instead. So let's take a walk down to the door to show you a bit better detail of the mausoleum itself. We can see the padlock on it there, the old handle that's on it, and look at the work of the iron door. Looks like some flowers there on it and plants. So the person who made the door here was James Stevens from Galway. Now I'm hoping I can reach in here so we can have a better look inside the mausoleum. We can see some more bones and stuff on the shelving area of the mausoleum. And the roof of the vault just there. So on doing some further research, I did find out that Maria Blake from Dartfield drove all of her tenants out of their homes, some 80 families, burning their houses and taking their gardens to use for cattle. I imagine there's a leak in there somewhere, there's water getting in, which is not good, which probably is the cause of those coffins disintegrating. And being the way they are, sad to see. And they had a huge house, Dartfield Estate, and I'll put a photo of that over the video as well. And it just goes to show the house is actually abandoned now and in ruin. So all the money and all the wealth, you can't bring it with you, it's always left behind. So the only thing they could do, I suppose, was for their legacy is to construct this beautiful mausoleum. And work was actually done on this. It was very overgrown and ivy on it, etc. So a group from the area did clean it up and painted those pieces we see on top of it there as well. And they did a very good job. So that's that, the Blake Mausoleum. Very, very interesting, ornate. So we'll take a walk around the other side of the old graveyard here and see what else we can find. It looks like here we have another old vault. So we'll have a look and see where the entrance is. It's down this old leafy pathway here. Yeah, so that is an old burial vault, and people are leaving a couple of bottles of water there. Maybe, I'm not sure if that's holy water or what purpose that is. It's left there, but we can see in the old vault, look at the old ring on it to pull back the vaulted area, the doorway where they would put the coffins in there. And we can see they have a post here, because a wooden post, because that would probably fall back just there. So that is that old vault, and I don't see any name on it or inscription, but I'd imagine there's a lot of family members buried in there. So that's the old church ruin. And we have a lovely little seat here. So I'll just read the inscription on it. It says, "I thought of you with love today, but that is nothing new. I thought about you yesterday and days before that too. I think of you in silence, I often speak your name. All I have are memories and your picture in a frame. Your memory is my keepsake, with which I'll never part. God has you in his keeping, I have you in my heart." That is a beautiful inscription and beautiful words, I suppose. This is James, it just says on it here, who died the 28th of July 2013, age 49. So there is newer graves here. We have 2017. Michael Monaghan is buried here with his wife Gertrude. So I'm going to take you back around and we can have a look at some of the other ones I missed, some of the graves. And if I get my torch to stop flashing now. Have mercy on the soul of Nora Finn, who died the 19th of November 1963, age 89. And that is her beautiful Celtic cross just there. This one here looks like it has broken two halves. And these here are pieces of the old church. They've left these stones here, so hopefully they might be doing something with that and maybe build up that wall and have it look the way it was maybe back then. There's some old graves just in here inside the church. And sometimes people ask on the video as well, why are people buried inside the church? And back then people would believe that, you know, if you were buried inside the old church ruin area, you would be closer to God. This one here was erected by John Mannion in memory of his beloved son Charlie, who died the 12th of June, and we can see a date on it there, 1879, aged just 14 years old. So another young person there. And we have some newer plaques then on the wall in loving memory of Anne Manton, who died the 14th of June 1945. Her husband Thomas died March 1950, and their son John Joseph, who died in May 1995. So it's good to see that people are still leaving some flowers here at the graves. In loving memory of Greta Manton, 1928 to 1932. So only 4 years old. Very, very young Greta was. And she would be buried just around there, I'd imagine. So it's a small graveyard, but with a lot of detail, as you can see. These would be stone markers here, so there would be people buried there, but there's no inscription. So those would be people who couldn't afford a proper headstone, I'd imagine, or to put an inscription on it. Patrick Burke, who died in 1996, and his uncle Michael in 1936. And you can see people live these little figurines here, holy statues, which is nice at the bottom of the grave. That could be an old holy water font or something that's there as you leave the doorway of the old church. And a couple of old stone markers there, grave markers as well. We can see them dotted around. So people are leaving potted flowers here, so they know where their loved ones are buried, even though the grave is unmarked through burial records. And they still leave flowers here, which is very nice to see. And it's in a lovely area, not far from Dartfield. It's now a horse museum, by the way, the old estate. And the old house still stands there, but it's abandoned. I'll show you that on the video as well, so you have an idea of the Blake family, where they lived and what the house looked like. So that is their final resting place. So rest in peace to the Blake family and all who are interred here at this beautiful mausoleum. So I'm going to leave it at that, guys. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, it's totally free. And comment below the video, let me know where you're from. If you like these old walks in Ireland here, the history and the stories behind them. So until the next time, take care, and I'll see you all on the next cemetery adventure.